Welcome to Trading Lounge and the daily US stocks for Friday, December 17, and starting with Amazon on the daily chart here. So, we might need to go to the intraday first here. However, I was looking for a move down through. Anyway, let's just go to the intraday and I'll just come back here a little bit. Be a bit easier. So let's just squeeze this in here. So in a nutshell, I was looking for another move to come down here, but this wave from yesterday, obviously the markets had spiked up. So I was looking for a little wave 4 here. So I'd counted down here as 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 for the third wave, fourth wave, fifth wave for the third, looking for the fourth wave to come back to the fourth wave of 1 lesser degree and then roll over from that point. Now, this particular structure has been, well, it's not really destroyed actually. I could technically, I need to talk about it. Technically, I could put wave 4 there. It hasn't overlapped wave 1, so that's sort of interesting. So technically, it's correct to do this here. Now, what I need to talk about is it doesn't have the right sort of look and feel about it at that particular point. So that's a little bit of an issue. So currently this little move down through here is in 3 waves. So any move below that little low there, let me just double check, we're on 100 ticks. So let's just go to 5 ticks. Just got to work through this with you so you understand. I need to understand. Let's just so this is the spike that we had here, and there's a good case for 5 waves up here. So that's what we need to be careful about. So from the top here, we can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for whatever, for wave 1 or wave A, and then back for 2 or B or whatever. And then here we've got 1 and 2, and then we've got the third wave here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So basically, if the market drops below this low here, if it does, then we'll be coming down further at that point. That wave 4 that I put at the top there will be correct. Okay, so if that low doesn't get taken out, let's just go back to our tick chart for a moment on the 100 ticks. Just had to double check that. So because this looks impulsive here as 5 waves, that needs to be acknowledged. I could probably, there's a few things that I could do, but what I'm a little bit afraid of is that we'll have this 5 waves up here, and then we've got an ABC back here, and then we'll have 3, 4, and 5 coming here for this. And then what will happen then is we need to put this X wave over here, and yes, we have some ABCs here, so an A wave here. This will have to be a B wave because it's only in 3 waves coming down to here, and then this will have to be the C wave over here. I could probably go the other way with this as well. I could probably go, I'm sorry to make it so confusing, but it's just the way the cookies crumble, that's all. I could go an A and a B and a C wave in here as well to satisfy kind of all the rules with Elliott, blah, blah, blah. So what I really want you to understand is that where's that 50, 60% in here as well? So that it's really sitting in this box here. There's going to be support here anyway for this point. I mean, I should just wait to see if that pops down on the low there. But as far as the crow flies, that's an A and a B and a C there. So that low there, that if that's breached, then we'll continue to come further down through here, okay? But if that holds, then Houston, we've got a problem, okay? And well, not a problem, it means that we're going to be going sort of up at that point. So that's the only way that I can resolve it at the moment for this, okay? Yeah, it's just that we've been working in, we've got an X wave here, for example, then we've got an A and a B and a C here. So yeah, it just could get a little bit complicated in that point there. So anyway, that's as that's the line in the sand for Amazon, a little bit thing there. And Google, there's really been sort of no change, just on that's 100 tick. This is the daily chart here that we've been, it has popped up, you know, they've all popped up. Some have done damage, some haven't. Some need to be sort of adjusted. But the main direction for everything is pretty much the same. It was just a little bleep along the way for all of that. Sorry about that, I just got to clear an order out. Okay. That's all done. Okay, sorry. Just doing a bit of day trading while I'm working, because otherwise I don't get any time to have fun, you know. Okay, so yeah, the bet on alpha. So yeah, we're still moving down here. So we need to, basically, we should be coming back down to the wave 4 of 1 lesser degree down here. So I was thinking that if we stay with the A, the B here, then all of this down here as wave 1 and back for wave 2, and then coming down for 3, 4 and 5. I think that could be a nice way forward on this. Go to this 100 ticks again. Yeah, so that's the way I drew it up here. So it does appear we've got 3 waves there, so that's good. If you wanted to short this, the thing is that we'd need to wait for this. You'd need to wait for a rally. It looks like it's drying up there, doesn't it, on those last 2 bars there, but it's only a tick chart. But once we get something like that, right, once you get a bit of a rally here, then you can look to short it under there if you wanted to and catch that 3rd wave down and get out at the end of the 3rd wave, because it's going to bounce here at the 8 at that point. So yeah, that's that. And what's next? Apple. So yeah, we'll just sort of stay with this. There's a couple of points here, is that look, I've probably got this count wrong, so I'm sort of working 2 counts here. One of them is that, a bit weird, but we could come all the way down here to this wave 4 of 1 lesser degree, okay, even a bit further. The other option that we've got is that we just come down to 165 area here, which is a 38.2% retracement level. And yeah, so, but nothing's really changed on the daily chart as such. Once again, we had that strong rally to the upside, but the number 8 is such a strong number. To me, it's the 3rd strongest number. So you've got 1, 5, and then 8. And I always call it a profit-taking number, because most of the time we're coming up to it. You know, we've been in a bull market for so long, so you always expect the bids to be hit at wherever you see number 8. It could be even just before that at 78, which is obviously the next degree, the sub-level. So we've got minor levels, and then sub-levels, and then micro levels. Well, we'll start with major levels, then medium levels, then minor levels, and then sub-levels, and then micro levels. So it just depends on how close you want to get to the market, because it kind of works with the Elliott as well, because they're the degrees of structure. So I'm just using degrees of structure using the golden mean or the golden ratio as a price ratio, and then the psychology comes into it as support and resistance, and that's just helped me with the Elliott so much. Yeah, just the good old support and resistance. And in fact, a lot of the winning systems I've seen have been pretty complicated, but when I've pulled them all apart, it all comes back down to support and resistance in a way. Okay, let's just cruise on here into the tick chart. So yeah, we can bring in a bit more data here. Okay, so there's the top. So we have to. So I was expecting it to come to here. It's gone further up to here. So once again, we can just keep this count really, but once again here we've just got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the A wave, the B wave, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. So I've only got 3 waves here. I've got 3 waves here, so a W and an X and a Y here. So we've got 5 waves in the first move here. The B wave, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we'll come down onto the 172. So we're in minor group 2 here, so 65, 72, and 80. And we'll get a bounce off the 80. and we could possibly come back to maybe, where's the supply, the actual supply levels, probably around in these guys here, so 175 maybe. Anyway, we'll work on that. I don't see a trade here just yet. We'll try to trade down here, but we'll just allow this to play out here as well. So there's a bit more work to do here before we can short this again. We were short down here, I think, from memory, but the seas have gotten a bit rough. So we could be looking at something like that. Definitely expect a bounce off here. And yeah, so if this becomes the retested resistance, then you can short it at that point, because if we consider this the you know, an impulse wave here, then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. So pretty much also just take, I've got this trend line through the top here and through the bottom here, so just take that into consideration as well. But if you see a classic trading levels pattern to the downside here, then you can look to short below that one, okay? Just in case I'm wrong and we do come down through here. So when we start working in lots of threes like this, things can just sort of double and triple, and you know, it just gets a little bit sort of complicated. So we're in a wave 4, whichever wave 4 it is in. We're definitely in a wave 4, and we're working in sets of 3. So you just need to be a little bit mindful of that. And square. So yeah, it rallied also a bit, and then headed back down again as well. So in a nutshell, we've got the 1 and 2 here, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 in here, and going down for 5 here to make 4, and then down to 5. So I'm a little bit confused about this in here. Let's just go in and check it out here. So radio. So well, first of all, we're out of our trade. We took profit here. Anyway, that's all there. That's there. Still need to understand that trend. I might just have a quick look at PayPal here. Actually, while we're here for this, let me just get this charting program in the picture here. I can see it, but you guys can't. So while that's there, just so let's move that out of the way a bit. This is just likely here as an A wave, a B wave, and some sort of C wave to here, and then head down at that point. Okay, so you can look for a little 5 waves up here, and then we'll head back down. Okay, that's Morgan's that we're looking at. BAC will be the same. I just wanted to have a look at PayPal for a moment, because I did some work on it before. I have to check what Alessio's done here as well. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, it's a little bit clearer there. So 4 and 5. So I could put that wave 4 up there. So we still need to. I mean, there might be another little retest of the 200 here. I'm not quite sure about that, and I can't pull it apart. But we should be heading down still with this, so it's not there yet. Okay, so I can put that wave 4 there. So that means in this case I would need to put this wave 4 here and this one down here somewhere. So we're still not there yet, because I just haven't had time to do that. There's so many things, and then Christmas is here, and you got to go get presents and all those things, and you know, I like presents, so try to stay away from the plastics, of course, but yeah, there we go. Be something like that. Let me just double check that. I really need to do some work on this, but the trend is definitely down. That's a little bit high for that retracement. Yeah, anyway, it's we're heading lower, so we're on track there. But we had a nice little trade out of that. Okay, Meta. is it? Okay, so I'm going to stay with my B wave here, and I kind of like it now because, you know, before I was looking at this here and I was counting up and I was going, oh my God, it looks like we've got 5 waves to that point, you know, so I had that bullish scenario, and yeah, so I had 2 counts here. So it could still be bullish, but what I can say to you is that that low here, this low here, once that's breached, then that would confirm we're coming down further at that point. Stochastics are kind of heading up nicely. Nothing sort of untoward about those guys at this point, so that's all good. The guy that invented the stochastics, George Lane, he passed away about a good dozen years ago or something, but he just used to trade the S&P 500 intraday, and yes, what he did in the morning. So he used the stochastics with Elliott Wave. He was an Elliott Wave trader, and he invented this with his brother, for his uncle, who was in the Eastern Bloc or something. Can't remember now, but it was a calculation that how much metal to put into some other metal or something or other. But yeah, anyway, that's that. I mean, out of all the indicators, it's my favourite. But with all indicators, you know, there's 3,000 of them, and they're all probably anyway. But they're all, when you think about it, they're all based off the price and the volume. So once you learn how to read price and volume, then you don't really need them that much. But when you're using indicators, it's normally all the subtleties that are more important, you know. So for me, it's the speed in which this travels, you know, because see the speed of this sort of took out the top here, but it didn't take out the previous top at that point, you know. So we know that I know that it's got use in it, it's valid at that point. So it's the speed in which it travels for me is the important point. Let's just go to this. So what I was thinking here, because before I've just adjusted this, but well, same count. I had 5 waves here, but I had them in green before to that point. That's why I thought it was bullish, you know. That's why I was kind of scratching my head a bit. But then we've had this correction and then this small wave here. I don't know if that's enough to start us off, but as I just mentioned, that taking this low out here would validate the next move down here. So what we could also do here, you can quite clearly see that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. Look, it probably won't come all the way down here on that, so there'll just be something of the extensions in wave 3, so wave 1 and wave 5 will be roughly the same. So then there'll be some sort of rally coming back. It may come up to the 61. Basically, that's one block of supply. That's the other block of supply. If it finds support on this block of supply, it'll go to that block of supply. Just like markets move from one number to the next, you know. But that would be so once you see that, if you can see it, then that would be the short trade at that point. And well, actually, the other thing that I can do here, just to nail that down a bit further, is okay. Well, it's close anyway. Yeah. So that price point is so all the 3. So 3, 3, 3. So that's kind of interesting because this is minor group 1 here, and the next group down is subgroup. So all the 3s there, that's the top of subgroup 1, that's the top of minor group 1, and that's the top of subgroup 1. So then you've got 3, then you've got 5, and then you've got 8 in there. So that's that. Yeah, so it'll be something like that. So you can look to short that. So I'll leave that with you. And that 5 waves there is interesting because if you get 5 waves in the opposite direction of the trend, then you're going to get another 5 down. And that's what I like about it, because we may not go all the way down there, but what it does, if you get the 5 here, then you know you're going to get 5 over here. So you can get this trade to break even. In fact, you can even sell that back up in the box there. So if we took this and took it down to all the 3s here and then put the box here, based off those clear 5 waves there, that means we can sell that box. So I'm going to turn it green, And yeah, so you don't have to shovel it all in, because then you've got to sweat it out. You know what I mean? But if you put in a little bit and then put in another bit here, and then you sort of like start understanding the prices, you might, instead of working that point there, you might work 335, because you know 5 is the second strongest number, and then you know you've got group 1 here. Once in subgroup 1 here, the 1, 2 and 3, once the number 2 here becomes the retested resistance, then it's going to be pulled down to the 30 at that time. If it's going to be pulled down to 30, yes, it will bounce back, but it will eventually go through. So you'll get another opportunity to add here as well, as with a little classic trading levels pattern coming down here. Make sure that you wait for that low, because sometimes they don't, there's a low here, but it didn't fail again at that point, And here, if you took this one here just for an example, and work that, if the market comes back up here, I kind of wait for things. So you see how that's just gone through here and created the first high above the level and then come back and tested it. So I would put my stop here, or I'd get out just on there. But I prefer to wait to get confirmation on everything before I do anything, But like I said before, I'm just a scaredy cat, so I like to make things. It just, I don't mind a loss, and I'm a good loser, but it just, the trouble with the loss, it just takes, it's the recovery time that bothers me. And time is more important than money when life is so short, or so long, depending if you're happy or sad, the game of happiness and sorrow. Okay, so that's Facebook. Let's go to Tesla. So with Tesla here, I feel like I'm on the right track with the A, the B, and the C here, and everything's pretty hunky-dory. And then from B to C, we're looking for 5 waves. So we've got 1 and 2 here, and then 3 and 4. But my wave 4 overlaps wave 1 a bit. Now, that may be okay, but it does raise a flag, and it just means we need to be on our guard. So I was kind of thinking we'd come down to the 90, the 900, and then we would be back on here and such, and we could go long here, above here, and, and ride off into the sunset, But because of that, we just need to be sort of extra careful, because we may get some, I may need to extend this. Like, as an example, we keep wave 1 here and 2 here, then down for 1 and back for 2, and then we're going down for the third wave here. So that means we could end up being down at 800 rather than 900. So just be a little bit mindful of that, and it's something that we need to work through. The answer will come in the rallies, but yeah, so... Now, also to here, so if we just go back for a second here, let's just go back a little way. So from the B wave up here, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and going down for 5. So everything's pretty sweet at that time, or is it? I might double check that too on the weekend. Looks like I've made an error in there, but okay, I'll check that. And so the other issue that I've got here as well, I haven't quite sort of resolved this, because from wave 4 coming down to wave 5 here, we had wave 1, which is fine, wave 2, which is fine, and then we've worked through this structure here, and all that's fine. And then my issue is that this wave 4 here is overlapping this wave 1 here. So there's another, that's the same thing that happened further up there. I don't know if that's the fingerprint, the DNA or whatever of the thing, but it is an issue, and it does raise another flag, because normally I would just put this here as a ABC pattern here for this wave 4 to be here, and then we could look at wave 5 being in place here. But then what do we do with this, do I put wave 4 over here? Is that what we're supposed to do? And then come back for the wave 5 here and extend this wave 4 here. That that's why sometimes I don't pay attention to spikes in the market. And when JP, the Fed talking about, what he's going to do next and all the rest of it, and the market sort of popped up. That's kind of a spike to me. So you kind of got, it's real and it's happened and you got to include it and all the rest of it, but sometimes I feel that you need to be a bit philosophical about things. So anyway, there's a couple of problems with this whole pattern that I'm coming down on. Now, I don't know if they're going to be important or not. So what we'll do, let's just chill a little bit on all of this. We'll look at this as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and we'll go down for wave 5 here. It's going to be a slog getting through this anyway, through group 1 here. So we don't really have to do anything here at the moment, but whenever we get this new low in here, we're going to get some sort of bounce, right? So I think we just need to monitor the bounce on this. So what we need to see is if we're going to get a nice, you can get an impulse wave, just in that structure there, which would make it, it could be an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave at that point. So what we want to do is we want to see a reasonable 5-wave structure, and then we'll end up getting a correction anyway. And then we can go up from that point, and we can look to, based on that 5 waves, we can look to work our way in over in this space over here for that. If we don't get the 5 waves, well then we'll look at, we'll see what's going on here, because we may just get from this top to this bottom here, we may have something else going on here in that we'll be looking at, if I take this, I'll just take it to the 900, but it may not even get there. So we may come back up in 3 waves to the 50-60% here and then go down again, So there's a few things that we need to work out here before we rush off into things. So yeah, a bit more work, based here because of that overlap on this wave 4 and this wave 4 here for this. Yeah, anyway, I've got to mull that over, so work to be done there. And Microsoft. So with Microsoft, we've been looking in 2 ways, as you may know. So we've been looking at it as like this. And I had this X wave here last time, but I didn't have it coloured in. It was just in grey in the background. But I think we need to give it more credibility at this point because of that extra little spike up as ruffled the feathers of my wave count. And yeah, we're also looking at it like this, but it's looking a little bit slim at this point as wave 1 and ABC for wave 2. As I've always mentioned here, we need that that low needs to stay in place there, because that's the 61.8% there, and we can come down to the 78.6, but the main point is normally they'll cover the gap and then cruise off, so yeah. It's just reflecting the price, so it's not really telling us anything, You might see it as a sell signal, and that's fine. But a sell signal to me would be taking out the low of that move down there. So I think that all in all, we need to look at this count. And instead of having, we could probably keep the ABC. I'll just have a look inside here, but probably we'll move to the X wave. Let me just check what we've done here before. So from this wave 3 here, so we've got 3 waves in this move, right? And we've got 3 waves in that move, and now this one here, because I was counting this down as 5 waves, and I was looking for this as a wave 4 and down for wave 5 here, but we didn't take out that low here on that for this. And yeah, so it kind of counts better as an ABC pattern. So that was the problem. So I've had to change this to an A and a B and a C because I felt like I didn't get my 5 waves. And so that means that I need to put that X wave up there and a W here, and then an A and a B and a C here. So we can put those over here now. So that's sort of where we are now for this. I mean, we're coming down, but just looking at this a bit further. So I could probably keep it an A wave and put a B wave here, and the other way I could count this too, which is probably worthwhile just mentioning, and we can just keep it in the background a bit, is just having wave 1 here and wave 2 over here for that. So I'll just put them in the background just to remind me, because then that would make a very sort of much stronger move to the downside in this case, you know. Well, I'll probably need to check in there a little bit further perhaps, but let me just have a quick check. I'll just label this now anyway. I'll just use these. But I just want to double check in this little space here just to see. Yep, no, we should be good to go. So that means that 324, what's the line? That's only because of that's there. That's so that needs to come down. So we're in group 1 here. So that's the 300. So that's a major trading level 3, and then we've got 10, 20 and 30, which is all of group 1. The market's falling into group 1. Normally what I find, this is where it becomes kind of interesting, is that when number 2 here becomes, when a market's traded above number 3 here, as it has, when it comes down, and if it finds this as the retested resistance, then once this locks under here, then you can be assured, well, pretty assured, that the market is going to be pulled down to the closest largest number at this point, which is 300 in this case, but it could be any number. So understanding that point of a bear market coming down, a bearish move coming down, if it's been traded above the 3 and this becomes the resistance here, it's at this point that it seems to, if that becomes tested as the resistance, then you can be assured that's coming down here. And that's quite handy to know. And it's quite successful at doing that. It's the same as going long and getting a classic trading levels pattern on the top of number 3 here. Then you can be assured of going to 5 at that point. You know, so it's just those little subtleties that help out a lot. So that's sitting on 2 there. We don't want that. We want that sitting on 3. That's where the bounce will probably come from. That's 123. That's it. So we can use that. So then what we can do is we can take the top of that. I'll just pop that there. Oh, it didn't come down there. You might need to adjust that. It doesn't look like it wants to come down. Where's 5? It's going to stick to 5. It might stick to 5 here. It's still a bit short. Look, wherever that comes down, I'll just take it to the 3 here, just in case. It might come even a bit lower to just under that. But we're looking for that, which is quite high at that point. So, yeah. I'd just allow this to land. It may just come to here somewhere and then move up, or we're going to get 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and come deeper down here. I'm not quite sure, but what we're looking for is a very clear ABC correction for wave 2, and then we can look to short under here for that. Because if you're shorted now, then you'd have to leave the stop sort of above wave 2, which is okay, but it's a long way, depending on what you're doing, you know. Anyway, I just get back on the case here for a moment. So we're looking at I suppose the other way this could trade out too. It still doesn't make, even if I call that wave A, it's not going to make any difference. So yeah, that's what we want. You want this to land and then have that rally, you know. It may come back to the 330 testing, because it hasn't been tested. I prefer things once they've been tested as such, and then we'll be coming down for wave 3. So I'll just leave it all at that, okay? I don't need to go to, we looked at Morgan, so we know what's going on there. So I can just leave all of that. Okay, rightio. Thanks for tuning in, and enjoy the weekend. And as I mentioned yesterday, I think it was, we will probably close next Thursday and then come back after New Year's Eve. Anything in between all of that, especially in the crypto space, where we'll see how it goes. I'll do a video here and there and update a few things, you know, but just keep an eye on things. If anything, you know, if something runs, I'll put a video out on it. But yeah, we're going to take that week off. Yeah, all good. Alrighty, cheers.